Following the OG Anunoby trade, there has been an influx of Pascal Siakam reports about potential suitors, where he could end up, potential timelines in regards to when we can expect a Pascal Siakam trade to happen. But now the asking price for the Toronto Raptors right now for their star power forward has been revealed. And it should be pretty intriguing in terms of what the Raptors are looking for if they are to deal away Pascal Siakam. So lots of stuff currently going on regarding movements and trades and things along those lines. So we're going to dive into it all in this video. But before we do, folks, as everyone knows, Raptors fans have been asking for moves, and Masai Ujiri has delivered after missing out on Dames, Keegan Murray's, a bunch of players across the league, and he's delivered, and how sweet it has felt over the past few days. And if you feel like you need a change up in your own life, well, then it's time to move, and Rentals.ca has you covered, because Rentals.ca is a part of Canada's largest apartment hunting network. You can rent houses, condos, apartments, whatever it is, Rentals.ca has you covered. Their website's clean, it's extremely easy to use, and you can pinpoint exactly on the map where you're looking to rent, where you're looking to move, and Rentals.ca will be able to find you the perfect location. And while Masai Ujiri has kind of struggled with trades and finding perfect trade partners over the past year and a half, Rentals.ca makes that entire process extremely easy. The Raptors fans themselves. So if you guys are interested in moving, you guys are interested in a little shake up in your own lives, definitely check out Rentals.ca. Their website's in the pinned comment of this video as well as the description below. They've been supporting the channel big time, so, definitely check them out so you can shake up and spice up your own life the same way the Toronto Raptors have in the past few days, and could potentially do so even more over the next month. Because as we've all been seeing, as we've all been looking at, the Raptors have been in the mix for now a potential Pascal Siakam deal. We've had a little Woj bomb come out indicating the Raptors are definitely sort of chatting amongst league personnel, other organizations about a Pascal Siakam trade. We know the timeline that this deal isn't imminent, but the definitely trade negotiations, the talks, feeling out the market certainly is. And now that that's the case, now that Masai Ujiri sort of opened up to the NBA, his asking price has been leaked. So we're going to break down what is actually inside Masai Ujiri's head and Bobby Webster's in terms of what they'd like to get back for Pascal Siakam. So this report's coming from Brett Siegel, Hoops Hype, basically breaking down that, first of all, that team is always setting the price extremely high for their players, obviously referring to the Toronto Raptors. Sometimes to the point it makes you laugh. A front office executive has shared with Clutch Points, obviously, you always want to try and get the most out of your players. That's the nature of the game, but at some point, you have to be willing to budge and actually negotiate instead of just saying, this is our price, take it or leave it. Over the years, this has seemed pretty one-sided when talking about trades with the Toronto Raptors. So, again, this is something that Masai's been flamed for over the past year and a half, but frankly, we'll see how the Siakam deal ends up because, if we hold on to him, we're stubborn till this trade deadline and we lose him for nothing, then that would be a bag fumble. But the approach to the negotiations with OG Anunoby, last trade deadline, we were talking about, hey, the Raptors may have missed the boat, not getting 3 first-round picks and Evan Fournier from the Knicks. Well, we just got a lucratively better package this sort of trade deadline. So that strategy, that sort of approach from Masai Ujiri has certainly worked. But then Brett Siegel gets into, what that extremely high asking price is right now for Pascal. Basically, after trading OG Anunoby, the belief around the NBA is that the Raptors are willing to be a little bit more flexible when it comes to negotiations around Siakam, an idea that was not presented to other franchises like the Hawks in the offseason. So, obviously, we heard those rumored packages, and thank goodness Masai Ujiri was stubborn over the course of this offseason because, frankly, deals surrounding DeAndre Hunter, Kobe Buffkin don't have me that intrigued, and the actual package has been fully broken down in this. As of right now, the general belief around the league is that the Raptors are looking for 2 players that can fit in within their rotation right away, along with 2 future first-round picks. So, I love this. I love this from Masai Ujiri, that he's out here not willing to settle, not willing to say, hey, we got our haul with OG Anunoby, we're going to chill now with Pascal Siakam. If this move is to go down, we want not only just 2 elite players, probably not the level of RJ and Quickly, because that sort of seems like I don't want to say a once a season sort of opportunity here, but it's definitely sort of a package that seems unique, but two players that can fit within the rotation right now. We're not trying to bottom out. When we're making these deals, we want moves that set us up for the future with that draft capital, with young pieces and things along those lines, but also brings in some rotation players. So I really love this approach from Masai Ujiri. Doesn't seem like too crazy. We didn't hear young star sort of language, in that sort of description, but players are going to fit what the Toronto Raptors want to do, fit our system, fit our future, right? Because we have a young core now with Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, and RJ Barrett. And obviously Grady Dick is another player that could have some potential. Gary Trent Jr. is still relatively young, but we're not sure how he's going to fit in long term. But the Raptors have some pieces right now. We don't have our draft pick for this season. So why the heck will we start to bottom out and then sacrifice two of the next couple seasons? Well, Scotty Barnes is put. I looked at his stats last night and realized that Scotty Barnes numbers just continue to increase. He's averaging close to 21, 9, and 6. That is some all-star ridiculous numbers that are going on right there right now. So basically, it doesn't make sense to bottom out this season and risk not getting your draft pick and then say, hey, we bottom out last year, we got to bottom out next year, so at least we get a top draft pick. Doesn't make sense in any regard. Get some players that can fit your rotation right now, fit the timeline that we currently have, develop RJ, develop Quickly, develop Scotty into star guys, and then either keep Pascal Siakam, which I've been sort of screaming from the mountaintops to actually do, or if you do trade him away, get some valuable assets back that can help you win now and then also get you some draft capital. So Siegel goes on to indicate what these, what potential packages could fit this asking price, basically saying the Hawks previously offered a trade package centered around DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin, and remained fixated on the idea of pairing Pascal Siakam with all-star point guard Trae Young. Along with the Hawks, the Indiana Pacers, Sacramento Kings, Philadelphia 76ers, and Dallas Mavericks have expressed prior interest in Pascal Siakam. League sources have said, of the teams listed above, the Hawks remain the favorited destination. How the Hawks' pursuit of Siakam impacts the decision-making of former all-star guard DeJounte Murray as well, who's his own whole separate conversation. So basically the Hawks are still the favorites. They're the team that's most interesting, but again, they don't have a lot of that interesting draft capital. They dealt away 3 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray, and then you have those weird stipulations where you can't have back-to-back seasons with draft picks and stuff. So there's not a lot of assets that the Hawks really have along those lines in terms of draft capital, but Hunter would be interesting. Not a guy that really gets me going, really gets me hyped up. But then you have players like a Kongwu. Obviously, Jalen Johnson's a piece that I think would perfectly slide in if we trade away Pascal Siakam. Again, you'd want more than just Jalen Johnson, just because even though he's young, he spaces the floor, all that type of stuff, he's not a guy that's really going to be creating for you, have the potential of a Pascal Siakam ever to get to that point. So again, the Hawks have some interesting pieces, but frankly, I look at the Indiana Pacers and say, hey, they have some draft capital, right? Nembhard would have been a more interesting piece prior to acquiring RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, because we still have Schroeder here now at this point. We have Gary currently on the roster. Nembhard would kind of get lost in our guard rotation unless we make more and more moves that oust Schroeder or Gary or something along those lines. But Nembhard still is a valuable asset. They have Jarace Walker. They have Benedict Mathurin. They have Isaiah Jackson's also a player that I think might have been being overlooked in these trade talks with the Indiana Pacers. He blocks a lot of shots. He's an athletic center, and especially with Christian Koloko. Again, Koloko was healthy, then you'd be less intrigued about a Jackson coming in, and maybe that's still why we haven't heard a lot of his name getting thrown around in potential trade discussions. But Koloko isn't healthy right now, so he could be an interesting fit at the backup center for the Toronto Raptors. The Pacers have some young pieces. I'd want definitely Mathurin or Jarace Walker or one of these players to be in that sort of unit. But again, trading away Pascal Siakam, the scoring that we are losing, we see it in, just even the last game for the Toronto Raptors. Siakam's such an integral part to this offense. Losing him would be a massive blow to this team. We'd be needing to get players that have proper potential, not just, potential to be solid starters or things along those lines. Players that fit our current core group, as well as have that potential to really skyrocket and blossom for this Raptors team. And frankly, losing Pascal Siakam would be a massive blow, and I'm not all that interested in doing it. So let me know what you guys think about all this Toronto Raptors news. You guys have been this far. Again, check out rentals.ca, pin comment down below. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.